question 4 was passed in the 2022 ballot. The bills that backed question 4 after it was passed by the voters was HB 837 and the identical Senate Bill 833. They are companion bills. The one to really pay attention to, though, is SB 516. That really outlines the regulatory framework on what license types are going to be given out and how they're going to be given out and when they're going to be given out and how to really start your business. So even though those bills, and I'm not saying you shouldn't read those, it's very important that you do, those really developed that Senate Bill 516, which really outlines everything. I outlined 2 different dates on this slide, July 1st of 2024 and starting July 1st of 2023. It's really important to understand the difference in these 2 dates. July 1st of this year, the possession and purchase for adult use was legal at that point. Starting July 1st of 2024, is when they will begin issuing licenses through the ATC, which is the ATCC, which is the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Cannabis Commission. And it's really important to understand that current medicinal operators will be able to have dual licenses, and those are the ones that are starting now, July 1st of 2023, selling recreational cannabis. But for new licensees, those that don't already have a medicinal license, those licenses won't be awarded until next year. And it's really important to understand that. Social equity plays a huge part of how licenses will be awarded for new licenses for recreational purposes. And it's really important that you understand what a social applicant is. They will own 65% of the business by an individual who, 1, has lived in a disproportionate area for at least 5 of the 10 years immediately preceding the submission of your application. 2, have attended a public school in a disproportionately impacted area for at least 5 years prior to the submission of your application. Or 3, meets any other criteria, which is currently being developed, by the way, by the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Cannabis Commission. So it's important to understand those are the 2 that are outlined today, but they could add more, and that's why it's really important to stay on top of it. What are the type of licenses that are going to be available for recreational? There's a list of them. Cultivation, which is growing, processing, dispensing, retail, consumption lounges, that's new, micro grower, micro processor, and micro dispensary. And I just kind of want to point out that a micro dispensary is really kind of like a delivery store because it's without a physical storefront. So think of micro dispensary as a delivery, and then you have an incubator space. That's new. That was not there in medicinal. Maryland, there were really only 3 licenses for medicinal use in Maryland, and that was to grow, that was to process, or that was to dispense. I list the number of licenses that they are currently going to award for recreational purposes at the beginning. So 75 cultivation licenses, 100 processing, 300 dispensing, 50 consumption lounges, 100 micro growers, 100 micro processors, 200 micro dispensaries or deliveries, and 10 incubator spaces. So here's a timeline. So and it's not by January 1st, the state must begin issuing round 1 licenses. Round 1 licenses are limited to social equity applicants, which we just went over 2 slides back. Licenses will be awarded via lottery. To get into the lottery, it's going to be a pass-fail. So you're going to have one chance. There is a clause in there that if there's something incomplete, they're going to give you a certain amount of a period of time to complete that, to get, to update your application to get in. But it's really important that you pass or fail. And how are they going to do this through a pass or fail situation? It's going to be through an evaluation of detailed operational plan, business plan, and diversity plan. And even though that sounds really kind of small, it's just an operational plan, a business plan, or diversity plan, it can be extremely large. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. Beginning May 1st of 2024, state must begin issuing second round. Now, licenses will also be awarded via lottery. It will be on a pass-fail. If they do not receive enough social equity applicants and award those in round one, and they will know this through a disparity study that will determine that, they may make round two social equity as well, or a combination of. So it's really important to understand if you qualify as a social equity applicant, apply in round one. And if you don't, you may or may not in round two, beginning May 1st of next year. Some of the things to pay attention to here in Maryland is, even though they talk about a detailed operational plan, and these words were directly out of Senate Bill 516, detailed operational plan, business plan, and diversity plan. I want to talk more further about what that means. A lot of times in these business plans, they're almost looking for standard operating procedures. What is your record keeping plan? What's your inventory control plan? What's your educational plan, safety and sanitation plan? What is the layout and flow from an operations aspect? These plans are very detailed. It takes a lot of time to put these together. So now is the time to start preparing for these applications, because if by January 1st of next year, they have to start issuing, that means by the end of this year, they're going to be accepting those applications so that they can go through this lottery process, the fail pass criteria to enter into the lottery. All that's going to have to be done in this calendar year so that they're ready to issue those licenses on January 1st of next year. And same thing goes for the second round. If you're going to apply in the second round, now's the time to start working towards getting these detailed operational business plan and diversity plans together, as well as finding your property, understanding, because in your business plan, you will have to identify where your property is going to be located. All of those things is very, very important.
If you have been watching this and would like support from Sherry directly, you can reach out at the email on the screen right now, sherry@mjfreeway.com, or at either of the phone numbers listed.